Well, happy Monday, everyone. It is digital host A.J. Wuest welcoming you back to Before the Four, where I go through some of 48's top news stories and then some before our 4 p.m. newscast. Wherever you're watching right now, I want to, of course, thank you for starting your week with me here at the Digital Desk. I hope you all had a great weekend. I know I certainly did, soaking up this truly beautiful weather while it lasts. That is definitely for sure. And speaking of the weather, I know someone who knows quite a bit about it. Let's toss it over to 48 First Alert Chief Meteorologist Brad Travis. Brad, what's the weather looking like as we head further into the week?
Afternoon, AJ. A lot of the weather this week is all about what's happening in the Gulf. Become a hurricane. Now, coming up at 4 o'clock, the latest hurricane center will be coming out. I don't expect any major changes. This is in the Gulf for several days. It lifts north and gives us some and that's going to start coming in Thursday into Friday. And by this, you're going to see 2 to 4 inches of rain. The wind per hour, that was the last update. Again, coming up during our 4 o'clock newscast, with guidance from the National Hurricane Center. But around here, it makes its big Thursday into Friday. And here's a look at 6 o'clock Thursday morning, cloudy, and then it'll get windier. And I'll talk winds here in just a second, but it should be rain cooled as well. I don't expect a big amount of with this. It's until we get late Thursday night into stability starts to move in, and we'll have to watch closely because an area low pressure that's going to be moving over Memphis at this time and north. It is weakening, but it's on the right side here, and that's where rain will start to fall in this band, and you also have enough wind shear. These tropical spin-up type tornadoes, again, a lot of uncertainty those, and over time we'll have to wait and see. One of the things here, we'll have to see if this trend continues, is it kind of stalls out, low kind of fills in and spins its way to the northwest. We I-65 with some very heavy rainfall rates and that'll be early Friday into Friday afternoon. So that's definitely the multiple threats of the wind gusts, the heavy rain, and here's a quick look at the winds. Notice how we see wind gusts around 40 miles the afternoon into Thursday night, and then it's more of a consistent winds at 20 with gusts to near 40 miles per hour as we could tie down as we get into Friday morning, and that will be as wind down. 48 First Alert weather days Thursday and Friday, and then change a little bit where we could start to see a continuation of down the road. So again, to summarize it, lots to talk about here, but again, National Hurricane Center will have that on WFF 48 News.
Well, thank you, Brad. And I understand there is a little bit of an audio issue. You might hear me popping right now. Hopefully that can get resolved as soon as possible. But until then, we're going to have to stick it out. But now in national politics, the first presidential debate between former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris is tomorrow. And yesterday, 48's Daquan Lee spoke with a local poli-sci and history professor. His name was Dr. Wayman Burke. His thoughts on what to expect from it. Take a listen.
Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris could be their only presidential debate before the general election. Political science professor and analyst Wayman Burke believes a big boost in the polls if he does well. However, Burke in his debate with President Biden won't work against Harris.
That Harris's background as a prosecutor gives her an edge in about any prosecutors that I think that we've known. Aggressive, quite clever, quite sly.
Bertie to cut into the momentum that Harris has held since assuming her nominee. However, he says Trump's not known for tends to shoot from the hip instead.
He likes to act stinks, and that's what we're told from the campaign and he does not like to follow convention and wing it according to his gut.
You can watch the debate as well as post-debate analysis right here at 48 News. Reporting in Huntsville, Daquan Lee, Flied.
Quan should be an interesting watch for sure. And now a story, in case you missed it, that you can only find on 48. A family now has closure after a man was found along County Road 55 in Coleman. Nick Ballinger has more.
County Road 55 in Coleman isn't the busiest road, but it's a road forever.
Honestly, I never want to drive down this road again. It's just unfair that he had to stay over 3 months.
Road 55 toward Eva in the past 100 days, you've passed the busing since May 30th. 30-year-old Cody Martin was reported missing after a car slammed into a telephone pole. With Cody nowhere to be seen, many sheriffs even tried to charge him with fleeing the scene of a wreck, only probable time.
Just to give you an idea of where Cody's sister found his bowl that he hit in the accident.
I counted this as 30 standing. His sister found his body 20 steps into the woods, 100. But it wasn't law enforcement who found his body. It was his sister.
Waiting, and I called, wreck happened, and I had to go. We knew that he was here.
On Monday night, Lewis went to found her brother. She thinks state troopers investigating the crash dropped the
Not protected, and they did not serve that day. You know, right here, if they would have searched, they would have found my brother.
Lewis is requiring a more detailed search of a scene, so this doesn't happen.
Either a canine or may it be a foot search is made of the area, they locate them.
In Coleman, Nick Ballinger, 48 News.
Well, and let me pull this up for you all. In Flat Rock, a man was victim of a fatal shooting after claiming it was justified under. A judge ruled Jerry Hicks was justified in his actions the death of Aaron Nix. The judge said he was covered by stand your ground law. Hicks's order means he won't, and this charge can't be filed again. Hicks was arrested in 2023 after he shot and killed Nix at a Mexican restaurant in Scottsboro. Investigators said Hicks was having dinner with his family. Now, court records claimed Hicks and his family were confronted by a man who was yelling about Hicks's child who'd gone to the restaurant. It said the confrontation continued outside in the parking lot. Nix punched Hicks several times. Now, Hicks got his gun and shot Nix one time, killing him. Now, another story, in case you missed it. Alabama students showing more proficiency in English language arts. According to a new report from the Public Affairs Research Council of Alabama, third graders tested 62% in the subject for their grade level. Now, this is a 9% jump from last year. The council says a big reason for the better results is the Alabama Literacy Act, which didn't go into effect until the 2023-24 school year. 48 Sarah Grace Kennedy spoke with research associate Thomas Spencer, who said he's very pleased with the results.
One of the most successful educational policies of the decades has been this investment in early, and to see that effort pay is really exciting.
Very awesome indeed. Readers are. Thank you, Sarah Grace. And now in Madison, where the department will be implementing a new self-defense program for women. The Rape, Aggression, and Defense class, or is designed to teach young women across the Tennessee Valley who are comfortable when they're alone. The program is complete and offered to any woman 12 and older. Organizers will be divided into 3 sessions that cover home safety, recognizing domestic violence, and finding during the altercations. Several classes are being held in September. If interested in the class, email Detective Taylor. You can find that email on our website. Well, it's that time of the year again, flu season. That means it's time to get those shots. WBRC's Kelvin Reynolds reports.
New vaccines are available for the flu as well. We spoke with pharmacists who say that they want to talk to people about getting a shot for one or both of those. Local pharmacists say flu season starts, and we spoke with Edwin McGee. He's a CVS pharmacy manager. They wanted to dispel some myths about the flu that make people hesitant. He says the flu shot won't give you the flu because it will take 2 weeks to build up in your system. Things like covering your mouth when you cough or sneeze can help prevent the flu from spreading, but it still recommends.
It's available for those 6 months and older, 3 years and up, just depending on state allowances. Recommended for all ages, especially our elderly, our seniors, and our immunocompromised.
McGee suggests doing a pharmacist if you have questions or concerns about other medications that you might have to take. He will work with you to help you make the best decision for your file. Your reporter in Tuscaloosa, I'm Kelvin Reynolds. 6 News on your side.
Well, thank you, Kelvin. Now, a cool story I saw earlier. A 76-year-old Kentucky woman recently made the decision that now is the time to get her first tattoo. The ALS patient brought an entourage with her to be part of this significant occasion. Kayla Barnes has more.
Getting a tattoo can be a big decision, but it's something 76 has talked about since the end of last summer.
Is this your first? Okay.
It's been a blessing to help take care of Jim. Really good that we could all get together and come and do something with her today.
With ALS, more than 4.5 years ago, when I first, she was scheduled to get a butterfly tattoo at the end of May. Janice settled on a new design of the sun saying,
Well, how was it? Not too bad?
Cheek side. She loves the sun. If the sun is shining, she goes to the court.
We want to getting a tattoo today. A group of her caretakers from the Will I Love You symbol tattooed on their arms.
Because she has a hard time language with her, and the I love you is just something that we from day one.
You know, wherever they end up, they'll always have this. That's probably the coolest thing about it all.
When Janice got the chance, her smile said it all.
Smile. When she was like looking at it in the mirror, oh, that's cool.
Before she left, Janice shared this message for her. I'm blessed. I have loving children and awesome care from these beautiful, them like family. I laugh every day. What more could you want?
It's something that I feel like we've talked about for so long that waiting to happen. So now to see it and to see how it and was able to go through with it, that was the best feeling.
Certainly a very cool story there. And also, I just want to say again, if you're watching right now and you're hearing some audio issues, it's a little choppy right now, I do apologize. There is nothing I can do at the moment to resolve that issue. But again, I apologize for the audio issues that we are experiencing right now. But now another cool story. A photographer is cultivating creativity and connection with strangers. You may have seen his work on social media. He goes up to random people in Portland, Oregon, asking them for an impromptu photo shoot. His videos of the encounters have garnered millions of views. Local news correspondent Bonnie Silkman tagged along with the viral photographer for a whole day. And let's take a look.
I do photography portraits of strangers.
Capturing the many faces of Portland.
Stranger. I like that.
Creating art on the streets with total strangers.
Hey, I do figures just all over Portland. I will approach just people on the street. Love the hair, looks great. Portraits. And then do a little mini photo shoot right there. Yeah, it looks good. Sometimes it's like a minute. 1 minute. We could do 1 minute. I've had some go like even longer where we're just like completely from time.
Can I do some crazy?
You can do, yeah, whatever you want. Beautiful.
The man behind the camera is Ryan.
People have been like open to experience this new weird thing that I'm doing. I create these reels media. It's the video of me approaching, which is why I have the GoPro on. Interlace the portraits into the video, so it's kind of like a whole.
Today, this photographer is letting us tag along.
This is kind of what it's like, honestly.
But what or who exactly are we looking for?
Describe because it's a feeling. I have a sensation of pulling someone and I'm like, all right, that's the one I want to do a portrait of.
And minutes.
Hey, excuse me. Hey, I do portraits of strangers.
Finds his first subject.
Sure.
Yeah, you down?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Ryan says it might, but approaching strangers takes guts.
I think like myself, like that is so painful. Wonder if I could take pictures. Yeah, okay, look at that. I thought I was gonna go the opposite. It's like jumping into it. I just have to commit to it, and then once you're in, it's like shock. But then you calm down and kind of are part of the experience.
The time, people like Katie are happy to spare a few moments to memory.
What did you think of the experience, like that moment when he approached you?
I was a little caught off guard at first, but no, it was great.
Well, you were really good.
And while Ryan sets his focus on his next subject, we keeps getting recognized.
Everything going?
Good to see you, yeah.
That's if people are watching his work online, mostly on his Instagram Pale Blue Wave, a metaphor for the ups and downs of his when he was sidelined by hip surgery. Hitting that low point is how Ryan discovered finding beauty.
Coming back from hip surgery, I had to do a lot of walking, and I kind of realized I was neglecting a huge artistic.
Now he's trying to do this full time.
I really love the cowboy. It looks awesome. Wonder if I could take some portraits.
Cultivating connections of disconnect.
One big theme is like most people headphones on or headphones in. Hey, excuse me. Hey, I do portraits around. It is nice to just like surprise, break someone out them into the moment and then create something together.
It's nice to be seen, getting to like see the different kinds of people who live in our community. It was fun.
Very incredible story there, super cool. And that is what I would call a story you're just not going to want to miss. And speaking of the stories you're just not going to want to miss, let's head into the stories you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscast. The first story you're just not going to want to miss, a story on hay bales made to resemble the likes of former President Donald Trump burning down. 48 Savannah Sap will have that story for you all coming up. Big Spring Park to implement a new parking deck. Get those details. And finally, the last story you're just not going to want to miss, an awesome story up in Tennessee of a group of coaches jumping in to help save a man's life. Get these stories you're just not going to want to miss in our evening newscast. And you know what time it is? Yeah, I think it's around that time. It is time for Facebook Fun, of course. And if you are new to Before the Four, you don't know what Facebook Fun is, take a look at this. Facebook Fun. So typically we'll ask a question on our 48 Facebook. Usually this is around 11:45 or around noon. And today's question was, what's a local that went out of business that you wish could come back? I am still pretty new to the North Alabama Valley area, the Huntsville area. I've only been since January, so I'm not super familiar with all the older restaurants that were here, but reading your comments today definitely gave me an idea of what was super good, and I am super mad that I did not get the chance to experience these restaurants. So I think I'm with you all. I think to come back because I want to try them for the first time personally. But let's see some of those restaurants all had to say. David Klein said number 1 Fish Cabin out in Albertville, Alabama. And he said 2 was Quincy's. Definitely saw a Catfish Cabin comments. So I am very upset. I'm a fan of seafood, or I guess, seafood, but from events of the Catfish Cabin, I might have to just place out if it was still here. So Catfish Cabin, come back. We miss you, that is for sure. But thank you so much for commenting. And then, yeah, Quincy's one out too, because I saw that comment quite a bit as well. Let's see. Bridget said Princeton, Florence. I saw a lot of Princeton's. So I'm assuming that place was pretty tasty. So I wish Princeton's and Florence would come back. And then O'Brien's and Mountain Hope. Yeah. Bring it back. That's what I say. Thank you for commenting. Gail said she loved Shoney's breakfast. Now, that is a place I have had before. I've had Shoney. And, you know, I'm a big fan of buffets. Go big or go home. And I typically go big and love buffets so much. Gail, thank you so much for commenting. Greatly appreciate it. And then finally, Nicholson said, Winn-Dixie in Huntsville, Alabama. And I don't even, do they even have Winn-Dixies? They've just completely gone out of business, which is very sad. So Amanda, I'm with you. Bring Winn-Dixie. But Amanda, thank you so much for commenting. Greatly appreciated. And there was so many other. So if you want to see what I had to say, just go to our Facebook page, WAFF 48 on Facebook, and you can read the last I got 900 comments on that post. So then it was filled with a bunch of restaurants that very, very good. But yes, so for anyone today, thank you so much for commenting. We greatly appreciate it. But that just about does it for Days Before the Four. I want to apologize for those audio issues and that choppiness that you've been hearing throughout. I apologize for that. But with that said, I mean, if you haven't already, make sure you download the 48 digital app. Download the 48 First Alert weather app as well. Certainly going to need that, as Brad said earlier. Moving into later on in the week, I believe it's a 48 First Alert weather day for, I think it's Thursday and Friday of this week. So if you haven't downloaded the 48 First Alert weather app, highly recommend you do so. And then Friday nights, y'all, football is back. And we have a sports app now. The 48 Sports Zone app is what it's called. It's available on the App Store, on Google Play, wherever you get your apps. Make sure you get the 48 Sports Zone app and get all those sports stories that I know you are desperately craving from across the Tennessee Valley. So get those 3 apps, turn on the push notifications, and you will never miss a breaking news story, a breaking weather story, the latest forecasts, and of course, the latest sports news from across the Tennessee Valley. But with that said, that is just about all the time I have in today's Before the 4. I want to thank you for spending a little of your Monday afternoon with me. And of course, starting off the week here at the digital desk. But with that said, that's all the time I have. But of course, I want to thank you for watching. You all have a great night.